definitely fall in love with me again. Just then, another boy in the class came up to Shen Bingning. He was 1.8 meters tall and looked dashing. Shen Bingning. Lu Dong stood in front of Shen Bingning somewhat awkwardly. You seem to be in a bad mood. Did Mu Ge make you angry just now? I can teach him a lesson for you. Shen Bingning seemed not to hear Lu Dong's words and continued to pack her things. Then she stood up. Back then, you were like a lapdog, lying on Mu Ge's desk begging him to explain problems to you. Why didn't you teach him a lesson then? After Shen Bingning finished speaking, she left without even giving Lu Dong a proper look. Hey, Shen Bingning, don't go. Lu Dong watched Shen Bingning's departing figure, and behind him came the mocking voices of several friends. You bitch, you just wait. Humiliated, Lu Dong's eyes widened in anger. His fists clenched until his knuckles turned white. After lunch break, you returned to the classroom and sat down. Shen Bingning was already studying. You kept your promise and greeted her as usual. Studying so early? Yeah, the exams are coming up soon, so I wanted to study a little longer. Shen Bingning gave a faint smile. Looking at her quiet and aloof demeanor, you couldn't help but feel a pang of regret. If Shen Bingning had spent a few years with you without revealing her unhealthy personality, I might have really fallen for her. But alas, there are no ifs. 30 days later, you and Shen Bingning would cross a crossroads in your lives, and you would never see each other again. Just then, you felt a soft touch on your arm. Turning your head, you saw Shen Bingning poking your arm with a slender finger. What's wrong? Is something the matter? You asked doubtfully. Mu Ge, what kind of girl do you like? Shen Bingning tilted her head, quietly watching you. You frowned slightly, pondered for a moment, and then replied, I like girls who aren't possessive, are mentally healthy, have no bad habits, won't restrict my personal freedom, and won't interfere with my private life. After you finished speaking, you looked at Shen Bingning with interest, a little curious about how she would answer. Isn't that kind of girl me? I am exactly like that. So, Mu Ge, do you like me? Shen Bingning didn't hesitate and blurted out the question without thinking. Looking at Shen Bingning's calm and collected demeanor, you were almost amused by her. Then let me ask you, what kind of boy do you like? You countered, I like you. Shen Bingning's pretty face flushed slightly, but she answered quickly and decisively. Your expression remained unchanged. After all, I already expected this. So why do you like a boy like me? Before you could finish speaking, Shen Bingning interrupted you. I don't like boys like you. I like Mu Ge. I only like you as a person. Shen Bingning frowned, correcting you earnestly, word by word. Then why do you like me? You looked at her with exasperation. I like you because you're Mu Ge. It's that simple. Shen Bingning said with deep affection. You're really at your wit's end. This is the first time I've seen a girl so persistent with me. But since things had come to this point, you didn't intend to persuade her any further. Anyway, the two of you were destined to part ways, and time would allow Shen Bingning to slowly forget her feelings. When the class bell rang at the right time, the math teacher walked into the classroom to start the lesson, and you stopped chatting and focused on listening to the lesson. But listening to the knowledge points that you already knew by heart, you couldn't help but doze off. Anyway, sitting in the last row, I can usually sleep for a while without being noticed. Your eyes slowly closed. Your consciousness gradually blurred, and in the dream you found yourself in an endless darkness. Something seemed to be constantly approaching you, the footsteps growing louder. You felt a soft, delicate breathing in your ear, and your neck itched, as if someone was breathing against your neck. Hot breath sending waves of tickling sensation. Annoyed by this tickling, you suddenly turned your head and saw a girl who was both familiar and unfamiliar. It's Shen Bingning. She instantly pressed down on you, her hands gripping you tightly, her eyes filled with the obsessive, morbid love. You tried to resist, but found yourself powerless, unable to utter a sound. You watched helplessly as Shen Bingning gradually invaded your body, from your legs to your chest, and then you suddenly opened your eyes. The world brightening again. It was just a dream. You breathed a sigh of relief, then stretched. Mu Ge, you're awake? Shen Bingning leaned closer. Didn't you sleep well at my house last night? You closed your eyes and slept until the end of get out of class. Shen Bingning's voice held a hint of self-reproach. It's nothing. It's just that this class was so boring. That's why I fell asleep. Hearing her voice, you almost jumped, involuntarily recalling your dream. Then have some snacks. I bought your favorite beef jerky and mince. Shen Bingning smiled and pulled out the beef jerky from her bag, handing it to you. Thank you. You took the jerky and put it in your mouth, chewing. You had initially wanted to refuse the feeding, especially after that dream. But your distance this morning had already taught you a lesson. To prevent Shen Bingning from causing trouble again, you accepted the feeding. Eat slowly. There's plenty more in my bag. Shen Bingning took out several more bags of snacks from her bag. a maternal smile spreading across her face. This scene took place in the corner of the last row, during break time, and with the college entrance exam approaching. No one would notice, except for one person, Su Ninian. Although Shen Bingning had fed you before, her reaction was always indifferent, like normal sharing between classmates. But today, Shen Bingning not only smiled, a rare occurrence, but her eyes hadn't left you for a moment since you fell asleep. As a girl herself, how could Su Ninian not know the signs of liking a boy? But Shen Bingning was different. Su Ninian and you used to be desk mates, and the two of you were practically old friends. They met. From that moment on, she fell for you. During their year as desk mates, Su Ninian was unknowingly captivated by your gentleness and humor. Later, when classes were reassigned, Su Ninian went through countless hardships to try and reunite with you in the third year of high school, finally reaching that threshold. However, she never expected that while she was focused on her studies, she would be betrayed. And the one who betrayed her was none other than a well-known figure in the school, Shen Bingning, the unattainable beauty and the white moonlight of countless boys. Su Ninian, are you free in a couple of days? At this moment, Lu Dong appeared out of nowhere. Su Ninian, still angry about being betrayed, naturally didn't give him a friendly look. What's wrong? Is something the matter? Su Ninian's tone was perfunctory. She didn't have a good impression of Lu Dong to begin with. It's a couple of days of holiday, and I wanted to ask you out for a meal. But I'm busy, I have to stay home. I'm studying. Su Ninian refused without hesitation. Then tomorrow, or later, we can have a meal together in the cafeteria. Lu Dong was persistent, but was rejected after less than 3 sentences. Don't you have any shame? You'll be free when we eat later, right? I won't be free later either. I just booked a plane ticket to America. Su Ninian's words were surprising. What did you just say? Lu Dong was dumbfounded, wondering if he had misheard. The college entrance exam is coming up soon. What are you going to America for? I really can't study for the exam anymore. And that blonde guy is a bit out of control lately. So I'm planning to go and run for president against him. Su Ninian said seriously. After Su Ninian finished speaking, she stood up and walked towards you. Mugo, what are you eating? You're eating so deliciously. Su Ninian walked over with a smile. When Shen Bingning saw Su Ninian approaching, her face immediately fell. She looked at the uninvited guest as if facing a formidable enemy. Ninian, I'm eating beef jerky. Shen Bingning gave it to me. It's so delicious. Su Ninian, chewing on the jerky, mumbled, Ninian. The way she called her so affectionately was almost painful. Shen Bingning's nails dug into her flesh. Really? Then, Shen Bingning, could you give me one to try? Su Ninian smiled at Shen Bingning. Sorry, I'm done. Shen Bingning's tone was icy as she stuffed the remaining beef jerky back into her bag. It's okay. Yes, I can make beef jerky too. I can bring some for you to try next time. Su Ninian said casually. I used to make it for Muge when we sat at the same desk, and he loved it, right? Su Ninian deliberately emphasized the words used to and sat at the same desk, provocatively saying, that's blatant provocation. Shen Bingning's face darkened instantly. It is quite delicious. But the ones Shen Bingning bought are also very good. You forced a smile. Their conversation is too tense. Su Ninian was all right. At least she could communicate like a normal person, but if the person next to her gets angry, things could get complicated. You don't care. You know what kind of personality Su Ninian has. If she really gets angry, you can coax her back or be on guard. But Shen Bingning is different. She had no idea about the obsessive and crazy heart beneath Shen Bingning's cold exterior. If she was allowed to dance on such a minefield, she might get ambushed one night while walking home. Su Ninian, you came over here and abruptly interrupted my conversation with Mugo, just to talk about your old stories and beef jerky. Shen Bingning gave a forced smile, her voice as emotionless as a machine. Of course not. Yes, I was thinking of inviting Muge out for dinner this weekend. Su Ninian placed her hand on your desk, looking at Shen Bingning with interest. After all, we were desk mates for a year. Although it's all in the past, the feelings are still there, and we still need to keep in touch occasionally. Big sister, I beg you, please don't go off on a dangerous path again. I really can't protect you. You smiled more like you were crying. It's the sprint stage right now, Ninian. Don't you want to spend some time reviewing? You want to save Su Ninian one more time? My review time is all arranged. I'm free tomorrow and the day after. It's up to you. Su Ninian demonstrated her flexibility. Oh no. You can feel the chilling aura emanating from Shen Bingning behind you now, and you can't help but sweat for Su Ninian in front of you. Okay, Ninian, I'll arrange my time when I get home. If I'm free, I'll talk to you on Green Bubble. You suddenly stood up? I'm a little hungry now. I'll go to the cafeteria to eat first, and we'll talk when I get back. After you finished speaking, you took off running, leaving the two of you no time to react. Seeing this, Su Ninian was about to follow when Shen Bingning blocked her way. You like Mu Ge, right? Shen Bingning stood up, a full half head taller than Su Ninian, her imposing presence overwhelming. Yes, I like Mu Ge, so what? Su Ninian neither humbled nor arrogantly admitted it openly. Nothing. Shen Bingning shook her head. Of course you can like Mu Ge. It's your freedom. Su Ninian was stunned. This woman was so hostile just now. Shouldn't we be exchanging trash talk? Why is she suddenly so reasonable? I don't care, because in the end I'll be by Mu Ji's side. And only I can be by Mu Ji's side. I love Mu Ge more than you and all those suitors. After Shen Bingning finished speaking, she turned and left the classroom. Su Ninian stood there, constantly replaying Shen Bingning's words in her mind. She could sense that something was wrong with this woman. After evening self-study ended, you returned home and lay exhausted on your bed, feeling miserable as you recalled the mess of the past 2 days. It all stemmed from that umbrella you'd borrowed the day before yesterday. The events of the past 2 days had been more complicated and explosive than anything you'd experienced in the last 2 years. It was so comfortable to be at home. Just then, your phone beeped. It was a message from Su Ninian. Mu Ge, have you thought it through? When are we going to have dinner together? Let's set it for the day after tomorrow. I'll be free then. Just send me the restaurant's location. You readily agreed. Now that Shen Bingning wasn't around, you felt less constrained. Since you and Su Ninian had indeed had a good relationship before, Su Ninian immediately replied, okay, it's settled then. Just after chatting with Su Ninian, Shen Bingning seemed to sense something and sent a message immediately afterward. Did you agree to have dinner with Su Ninian? Looking at Shen Bingning's message, you felt a headache coming on. Honestly, you really like Shen Bingning. Who wouldn't like a school beauty who's only enthusiastic towards you and feeds you beef jerky every day? If it weren't for what happened these past 2 days, maybe you really would have accepted Shen Bingning, but now it's different. You knew that Shen Bingning's obsession and madness were a ticking time bomb, not to mention what Shen Bingning did while you were asleep when you stayed over. To put it bluntly, you're already showing good manners by not calling her a pervert. It doesn't seem to concern you, it's my freedom. A while later, you received a reply from Shen Bingning. How is it not a problem? You know I like you. Why are you dating other girls? Seeing this message, you were both amused and exasperated. Girl, you like me, but I don't like you. So you immediately replied. I was just having dinner with a friend. It doesn't count as a date, right? You still didn't dare to be too absolute. After all, you were still sitting at the same table as Shen Bingning. In other words, you agreed, right? Looking at this reply, a strange fear rose in your heart. So you replied, not yet. Reject her, go now, and send me a screenshot of the chat history after you reject her. This message left no room for negotiation. It was a pure command that IT felt like if you didn't act immediately, you'd be punished the next second. You were suffocating under the pressure. Even through the screen, Shen Bingning exerted immense pressure. You hesitated for a moment, thinking of having a friend impersonate Su Ninian and forge a chat log to fool her. The idea had barely formed when another message came in. Send that woman a message. Take a screenshot. Does it really take this long? You agreed, right? What did I do wrong? Was I not good enough to you? Or is it that you don't like my type? I can change. Whatever you like, I'll change to be that. Tell me. The 4 messages were sent almost simultaneously. The wording and tone so drastically different, as if she were a completely different person. Looking at Shen Bingning's last 2 messages, you felt a lump in your throat. Although Shen Bingning was a bit obsessive and twisted, she was also an excellent and independent woman. Seeing this side of the girl in front of you evoked a strange feeling in you. Shen Bingning, you don't need to change. Just be yourself. That I like the real you. You gave what you considered the perfect answer. Since saying you didn't like Shen Bingning wouldn't change her either, you might as well say you liked her being the real her. After sending the message, there was a long silence on the other end. Just as you were about to turn off the lights and go to sleep, a single word came back. Okay. Seeing this reply, you breathed a sigh of relief, thinking that things were finally over and Shen Bingning would probably go back to how she was before. You lay on the bed and fell into a deep sleep. Meanwhile, Shen Bingning lay on the messy bed, the sheets wrinkled and uneven. Mu Ge, do you like the real me? Shen Bingning got out of bed and pulled a school uniform jacket from the closet. This is the jacket you gave her the day before yesterday. I forgot to take it back. Shen Bingning hugged the jacket and lay back down on the bed, burying her head inside, curling up like a pill bug. In the darkness, her heavy breathing gradually filled the air. Mu Ge, I love you. This is the real me. Do you love me? Shen Bingning's face flushed, her murmured voice tinged with shyness. Her body trembled like a sieve. her eyes blazing with fervent love. Even though the coat has been washed, it still retains your unique scent. Shen Bingning sniffed, not missing a single trace of that sweet hormone. I've held back for so long, Muge. Why didn't you say you loved the real me sooner? Ha ha. After a long while, Shen Bingning slowly calmed down, her body regaining its composure, her breathing gradually becoming steady. Muge loves me. She really loves me. The next afternoon, after school, tomorrow was the weekend. You carried your school bag, humming a song, walking briskly home. Today was uneventful. Shen Bingning didn't cause you any trouble, just like usual. But she kept intentionally or unintentionally creating physical contact with you, though not like the previous days. Her eyes were much clearer. She must have used some method to soothe herself. Body and mind. You hummed a nostalgic children's song you'd adapted, heading home to take a shower and then play a game with your best buddy Zhonglei. There's hardly anyone in the neighborhood. At this hour, everyone's either eating or out picking up their kids. It's quiet and deserted. As you walked, you suddenly felt something was off. A strange chill slowly crept up your back, as if someone was watching you. You turned around, but there was no one behind you. Only a few trees in the green belt swayed in the wind, and a few cars were parked quietly. You muttered to yourself, "There's nobody here." Playing with Shen Bingning for too long has gone crazy. You frowned but ignored it and continued walking home. But after only a few steps, you suddenly stopped and turned around abruptly, seeing that it was still the same behind you. You breathed a sigh of relief. Behind a black sedan, Shen Bingning was crouching in the rafters, biting her lip, barely daring to breathe. After you walked a distance, Shen Bingning finally stood up and followed. You took the elevator and pressed the button for the 4th floor. Shen Bingning followed you to your building. After watching you get on the elevator, she waited a moment, and when the floor display showed the 4th floor, she turned and went up the stairs. You opened your door to go home, and she followed you up the stairs right behind you. The 4th floor is a layout with doors facing each other. Besides you, there's another neighbor. Finding your door wasn't difficult. She could easily recognize your shoes from the shoe rack outside. Shen Bingning raised her small hand and placed it on the doorknob. You hadn't locked the door, and if she wanted to, she could go in right now. But she resisted the urge. Barging in now would do her no good. It would only alert you. A small act of impatience can ruin a big plan. Shen Bingning lowered her hand and silently left. Air 2. Are you a tumor? What are you doing, always playing solo? Did you leave your brain at home? Her angry voice hurt your ears. Brother Lei, it's just a game. Don't take it so seriously, just have fun. You comforted her. As E2, you got 22 kills. Firmly in 1st place in the team. 2nd place is Zhang Lei, and that Air 2 who always plays solo is at the bottom. At this moment, Air 2, who hadn't turned on his mic the whole time, suddenly turned it on after being scolded by Zhang Lei. You and E2 are so good at killing. Just finish it. What are you two duo queuing for? A woman's voice can kill flies. It makes Zhang Lei feel nauseous. Your smile instantly froze, and you slowly pressed the team voice button. Damn, sigh. After a debate about dreams and journey, you took off your headphones, lay back on the gaming chair, your face flushed like you were in love. This debate ended with a 3-day ban, and if nothing unexpected happens, you won't touch the game for the next week. Just as you were about to shut down your computer, Zhang Lei suddenly asked, "By the way, Mugu, have you been having some kind of relationship with that school beauty, Shen Bingning, lately?" Zhang Lei replied, "No, Shen Bingning and I are just desk mates." "Why do you ask?" You asked, puzzled. Zhang Lei is a gamer and usually doesn't care about school stuff, let alone gossip about him and Shen Bingning. "I went to deliver some materials to the teacher earlier, and a girl from our class happened to be looking for you. You weren't there, and she talked to your desk mate about something. She came back a little while later, saying she was a bit late." You twitched your lips. You hadn't expected Shen Bingning to be so possessive, but in a way, it was a good thing. At least it saved you from having to refuse. "It's okay, it's nothing. We're graduating soon, so let's not pay attention to this stupid gossip." You brushed it off, pressed the power button, and turned to lie down on the bed. You and Su Nianyan had arranged to meet for lunch tomorrow. The place you chose was quite close to your neighborhood. You could walk there. The next day at noon, you shaved, put on a black t-shirt, and went out. Your phone vibrated. It was a message from Su Nianyan. "I've already set off. Remember the restaurant name? It's Nyofu Steakhouse." Xiao Muchuan looks so energetic. "Are you going on a date?" Uncle Chun, the security guard in the neighborhood, saw you and joked, "Uncle Chun, stop teasing me. I'm just going out for a bit." You waved your hand with a smile. But as soon as you stepped out of the neighborhood, a familiar voice called out to you. "Muge, what a coincidence. Do you live in this neighborhood?" You were startled and turned around stiffly. The person in front of you was Shen Bingning. Shen Bingning was dressed in a simple black sailor uniform. yet it looked exceptionally beautiful on her. Her delicate, cool face was unadorned, but the only flaw in her perfect features was the faint dark circles under her eyes. "Yes, I live around here," she said. You honestly replied. "What are you doing here? I remember your house is on the other side, right?" You asked. "The quality and taste of the things in the supermarkets here are better, so I came here." As she spoke, Shen Bingning showed you the fruit she had just bought. "Want some?" "I bought oranges, bananas, lots of fruit." You recalled that there weren't any large supermarkets in the area, near Shen Bingning's house. "No, I have an appointment with someone." You waved your hand, intending to slip away immediately. "You've made plans with Sun Yin, haven't you?" Shen Bingning's smile remained unchanged. "Yes, it's just a meal. What's the big deal?" You said with a wry smile, but Shen Bingning's reaction was unexpected. "It's nothing, just a meal. What's the big deal? Is it your freedom to eat with whomever you want?" She stepped forward, gently took your hand, and whispered in your ear, "I want to come with you too." "How can that be?" You realized what was happening and quickly refused, trying to pull your hand away, but Shen Bingning gripped it tightly. "Why not? It's just a meal, not a date, right?" Shen Bingning slowly moved closer, deliberately emphasizing the word date. Now you were caught in a dilemma. If you really brought Shen Qinglian along, wouldn't you get into a fight with Sun Yinyan? But if you didn't bring her, it seemed like that wasn't an option either. Shen Qinglian is now clinging to your arm. You can't run away even if you want to. You can either confront Sun Yinyan now and cancel the dinner date, but you'll still be pestered by Shen Qinglian all day. You don't think Shen Qinglian will let you off so easily. "Sai, let's go then." You look helpless. "If I'd known it would be like this, I would have stayed home and played games with Zhonglei. By the way, girl, could you please stop holding my arm? It's indecent in broad daylight. Your right arm is like it's wearing a 1.75-meter tall human pendant, tighter than someone from 502. "No." Shen Bingning stuck out her tongue and hugged you tighter. The midday sun bathed the entire street, making it hard for you, someone who rarely goes out, to open your eyes. Suddenly, a shading appeared, blocking most of the sunlight and making your eyes feel much better. If you can't open your eyes while walking, you'll bump into people. Shen Bingning peeked out with her round little head, the delicate straw hat she was holding now on your head. You touched the brim of the hat, somewhat surprised that Shen Bingning would care so much about you, and felt a little touched. "No need, you should wear it. Don't get your face tanned, and this hat is too small. It's not comfortable to wear." You took off the hat and handed it back to Shen Bingning, who seemed a little reluctant to take it back. But after looking at your head, she realized the size was indeed unsuitable, so she had no choice but to give up. As you walked, you suddenly felt an itch on your forehead, and the sunlight in front of you was blocked again. This time, you turned your head and saw Shen Bingning standing on tiptoe, one hand linked with yours, the other hand held across your forehead, shielding you from the direct sunlight. Even for Shen Bingning, this gesture seemed somewhat comical, yet she didn't seem embarrassed at all, as if you were the only person in her world. Looking at the girl beside you with this comical posture, you felt a pang of sympathy. "Hey, what are you doing?" "Performance art." You teased. "What's performance art?" Shen Bingning blinked. "I'm just shielding you from the sun. Aren't you tired walking on tiptoe? Just walk normally, we'll be at the shop soon." "If only I had drunk more milk when I was little and grown taller. I wouldn't have to stand on tiptoe to help you." Shen Bingning smiled somewhat shyly. "That's unfair. That's too unfair." You thought to yourself. Shen Bingning, when she's not having an episode, is too much of a supermodel. If this keeps up, I'm afraid I'll really be won over. Fortunately, the steakhouse wasn't far, and the two quickly arrived at the address on the navigation app. Neofu Steakhouse.su Ninian stood at the door, looking around expectantly at the crowd. "They're here, they're finally here." Su Ninian saw the familiar boy walking towards her not far away. But why was Shen Bingning beside him? Su Ninian froze, rubbed her eyes, and looked again carefully. It really is her.